Good morning.
Okay, hold on. We're almost set.
What? We're nowhere near set.
Let's see here.
Hey, my hair's looking kind of funny today.
Yeah. Not that funny, though.
Well, I mean, I'm trying. It's just what happens, I guess.
Okay, so now do the post. Okay, where are we? We're in Tacoma. Alrighty. Okay. I don't understand why we're having issues with the chat thing, because it always says all viewers can participate in chat.
Yeah.
Maybe we're not the viewers, so.
We're not the viewers.
Anyway, yeah, so we are actually on everybody. So
We're on everybody? Uh-oh.
How can I say we're sleazy?
Sleazy Vegetable Joe?
That's you.
That is me.
Hey, hold on here.
At least I used to be.
Well, I quit putting sleazy in front of your name when I was doing the editing. I started just putting it in as Vegetable Joe.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because, hate to say it, but you're not that sleazy.
Oh, not anymore. Not anymore.
Yeah.
There was a time. There was a time when that moniker was perfect.
Yeah, I think we all can say there was a time.
Man, there was a time when the United States was somewhere that you could be proud of.
Alrighty, man, we are recording.
When that was, but
that was the day I was born.
Like I said, I don't know when that was. So
yeah, it was the greatest accomplishment this country has ever made.
No.
You don't think so? Huh?
No, I don't think so. I think the greatest accomplishment this country ever made was convincing people that dropping 2 nuclear bombs on a country was a good idea.
Yeah, well, kids with their toys.
Right? How come they only dropped 2? Because that's all they had ready. They would have dropped 3 if they had them.
Probably. And then it wouldn't be a country of Japan. It would just be a underwater peninsula. Alrighty. Well, welcome to another exciting episode of You Must Be Joking.
Right. Hey, and welcome.
And since the chats seem to give us a little bit of difficulty, the text line and call line are open, so feel free, call, text, please. 253-254-6664. And
yeah, bring it in, bring it on, bring it up.
Yeah, join the conversation.
We're definitely not afraid to talk about something other than what we're going to be talking about because right now we don't even know what we're going to be talking about. We're just here.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. I found a couple of interesting articles. I was a little bit disappointed in one of them, though. The says an Oregon houseboat floats into Washington in a windstorm.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I was thinking how weird that would be to wake up in the morning and find out that you've just been relocated and didn't even know it. You know, I mean, your whole house, right? Unfortunately, nobody was home.
So water's paradise. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, well, let's see here. Yeah, Pacific Northwest windstorm was so powerful it caused a houseboat moored on the Oregon side of the Columbia River to break loose and float to the Washington state side. The sheriff's office tweeted Friday that nobody was inside when the home broke free from the marina on Marine Drive, which appears to be near Troutdale. The owner was working with a contractor to resecure the house.
Apparently, they didn't work hard enough.
There you go. Yeah. So, but I was actually expecting a lot more out of the story than that. You know.
Well, what do you mean by a lot more? That they were going to be giving the house away now that it has moved to the Washington side of the Columbia?
No, I figured that they would say, at least when they had, where it landed and where, maybe somebody was there, you know. Just, it seems to me like it should have been a much better story, you know.
Well,
The guy was sitting on his porch
trying to
fishing
hold
and it broke free.
the press to a higher standard than they hold themselves. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, there's journalism is dead. It's been dead for decades.
Yeah, they should have at least finished the story, you know.
The only news that even is semi-truthful anymore is local weather.
Well, even that's a crapshoot.
Yeah, see, that's why I said semi-truthful.
I remember when I was a kid, we lived there in Springfield, Oregon, and all the adults and everything would make bets about, well, as kids started doing it too, but mostly the adults would actually make bets as to how far off the weatherman was going to be, because it seemed like, if he said it was going to rain, it was going to be sunny and nice. If he said it was going to be sunny, it was going to rain or going to be a storm or something like that. He said we were looking for looking at a mildly, or we had a 20% chance of rain on this one day. It was Columbia Day, Columbia Day, and that was one of the biggest storms they had down there. It came through. That was called the Columbus Day storm, and houses' roofs were blown off, cars were tipped over, all kinds of crap. Flooding locally.
Yeah.
And but mild chance of rain.
Right. I lived in California for quite a while, and when I lived in Southern California, LA specifically, you turn on the news, hazy sunshine today, hazy sunshine today, hazy sunshine today, chance of rain, hazy sunshine today, hazy sunshine today. That's all they ever said. Hazy sunshine today.
Yeah. That is one of the few jobs where you can be wrong every day and still be considered good at your job.
Yeah, well, it's I had a joke about how, sometimes you have a job that's important. People can live and die by every word you utter, and if you're wrong, well, you're just a weatherman.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's like that one joke years ago. Mother was sitting there talking to her friend, and her friend, she says, "Yeah, I think my son is going to be a weatherman when he grows up." And the other lady says, "Oh, how do you figure? Is he taking a real interest in meteorology?" And she says, "No, but the other day the teacher was asking how much was 22 plus 44." And he said, "Oh, mid to upper 60s."
That's a weather guesser.
Yep, yep. So,
If you look at this chart right here, you'll see that White Zombie with his green face will be in the northern regions of rain. And if you look over here, you'll see that there's some pearl. So,
yeah. I didn't say it was a good joke.
When you don't have to be accurate, you can get away with all kinds of stuff. And sadly, it's gone from simply the meteorologist, the weather people. It's all the way up to the anchor now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You don't have to be truthful. You don't have to be honest. You just have to read the script, and unfortunately, they seem to love it. I don't know. I guess it pays enough.
Well, there I have to disagree with you a little bit, just a little bit, okay? Because it used to be, that they had the scripts written out and all this kind of stuff, and the weatherman would actually read the script and stick to the script for the majority of it and the most part, unless it was something that they were passionate about. And then, they would allow themselves to get excited, or if they found it was funny, they could laugh, this kind of stuff, and banter about it, back and forth. But they had to stick pretty much with the with the script. Nowadays, it seems like they get to make up a lot of their own stuff as they're going. So the script is not a script; it's an outline, and they get to add a lot to it, and it becomes more of an editorial than a news story, because a good portion of it seems to be their opinion instead of just the facts.
Oh, there's no facts in news anymore. It's a script. You can watch 50 different channels from either side, from a left side, from a center side, from an independent side, from a right side, and they all say the same thing. The exact same wordage, maybe a couple of different, like instead of saying we see that this is a problem, they say it looks like it's a problem. That's small change, but
well, that keeps it from being plagiarism.
They all say the same thing, and it's not plagiarism when the government is writing your script for you.
Well, yeah, there is that. So, but yeah, I mean, it's.
There was a time when you could trust the news.
Yeah.
Now you can't.
Yeah, but it used to also be that when they were giving their opinions or their observations or whatever, they actually made it a separate segment called an editorial portion of the show.
Yeah, Walter Cronkite never gave opinions. He just gave facts and let you decide.
Yeah, but he did get excited about some things, like you remember the moonwalk, when Apollo landed on the moon, he almost jumped out of his chair. He was so excited when they touched down, he did that a few times. When Kennedy was assassinated, and again when Bobby Kennedy was assassinated, you could see that he was really upset about it, but he kept his opinion to himself.
Right.
Okay. But they always had editorials, from like the manager or something like that, and that way there it kept their opinion separate from the news, from the story itself.
Yeah, now opinion is news.
Yeah, now it's all their opinion.
The truth is a lie, and it's disappointing.
No, I agree with you there. Yeah,
at least it's disappointing to watch what's going on, but at the same time, it's kind of fun watching civilization collapse, watching 24/7 updates on social media about how crappy things are getting. It's just like, oh, this is awesome. I told you this was going to happen. What do you mean you told us it was going to happen? It's like, as soon as you let the government go on autopilot, we were going to get this. Well, when did we let the government go on autopilot? About 2 days after Kennedy was put in the ground.
Well, not totally. I would say it was probably just about the time that Nixon took a bath.
Nah, when Kennedy was assassinated, we put the government on autopilot.
I think that they were trying to get on autopilot, but I don't think they actually succeeded until they got rid of Nixon.
They had control. That's why Kennedy was assassinated.
Well, it depends on which story and which version you go by as to who was responsible to that. Yeah, some of the politicians were supposed to be, but it was also supposed to be a mob hit.
When you watch Lyndon B. Johnson being sworn in on Air Force One and you see Albert Thomas give him a big old wink, yep, we made it. It's pretty obvious at that point that they were like, we're still in control.
Well, I didn't see that
What
precisely.
did Kennedy want to do? He wanted to get rid of the CIA. He wanted to fucking get rid of the Fed. Pardon my language. He wanted to get rid of the Fed. He actually started printing greenbacks.
Yeah.
Dead.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with a lot of them.
Don't want to mess with any of them, apparently. But yeah, since then the government's been on autopilot, and that led us straight to this Brandon administration.
Yeah.
And Dylan Mulvaney interviewing the president, a man acting like a woman, interviewing a man pretending to be president of the United States.
Who was interviewing a man pretending to be president?
Dylan Mulvaney. I dare you to look it up. That is the most disgusting thing that's ever happened in this country. Is that thing got to interview the other thing? I'm sure they kept them separate because as soon as Joe sniffed it, he's like, "This isn't a little girl."
Yeah, well, the part that bothered me about your comment was where you said that, he had interviewed a man pretending to be. He's a puppet, not a man.
Yeah, well, they've been puppets for many, many decades.
Yeah, but
many decades.
But
you know how you can tell a good politician? They only last one cycle. They get one term and then they're gone. That's how you know they were good. It's just like a good cop. There's a lot of good cops out there, but they don't get to stay at a station with a lot of bad cops because they start saying, "Hey, you're not doing good, you're doing bad," and they're like, "Oh, you got to go."
Well,
corruption is deep in this country. Deep.
Well, no doubt, and it's getting deeper, But if Biden gets a second term, I will be totally surprised.
Biden's not going to live past Christmas. You kidding me?
But if he only gets the one term, then that would mean he's a good president.
This is how crappy Biden is. A week ago, he started his trek through the states to help other Democrats in their midterm election process. Right. Now, if he was as vibrant as a president as, say, Obama, when Obama started going through his midterm cycle, it was in the January of the year that he helped all the people in their midterms for the whole year, not just 2 weeks before the midterms were actually going to occur.
Yeah.
But that's how bad it's become. It's such a garbage show anymore, and they're going after your kids, and that's the most disgusting part is they're going after the kids. That's the most disgusting part.
Well, they've been going after the kids for quite some time.
Yeah, but now it's open. Yeah. It's out in the open. It's out in the public.
Yeah, the teachers have been doing a lot of it in schools for a long time.
Letting teachers talk about their sexuality in school.
Yeah, well, they talk about everything they shouldn't be talking about. They should be talking about computer programming, math, algebra, geography,
how to get bank loans, how to pay your taxes, how to get life insurance,
how to balance a checkbook.
They should be teaching Constitution.
Yeah,
they're never going to teach any of that stuff anymore.
Yeah, well, why would they? Because that opens things up.
They took home ec out of schools
and shop, any kind of shop.
Out of schools while I was in school.
Oh, well, when I was in school, we still had home ec and we still had shop. We also still had music,
Yeah, we had drafting, we had metal shop, we had wood shop, we had auto shop, we had home ec. And as I progressed from the 7th grade to the 10th grade, they got rid of all of that stuff.
Yeah, we had let's see here, mechanical drawing.
Drafting.
We had auto shop. We had wood shop. Let's see here. Then we had marching band. We had orchestra. We had chorus. Let's see here. We had home ec. There was another thing that was kind of a spin-off of home ec that had more to do with sewing and fixing things in the house and this kind of stuff.
I don't know, because we had, I mean, our home ec and our typing class were taught by the same two teachers when I was in school.
Oh yeah, I forgot about typing. Yeah, I took that.
Yeah, it was not an elective. You had to take it.
Oh well, it was an elective for us. The only reason I got to take it was because I just moved in, and all the other courses were done. You know, I was in Spanish culture class, not a Spanish, not learning the language of Spanish that much, but the culture. And I was actually enjoying that class. But then I moved down to Sutherland, ended up in Spanish class because that was the closest they had. So I ended up with typing and Spanish, which were two of my favorite subjects because me and Mario were the only guys in either one of those classes. It was nice. You know, we had 30 kids in the class, and me and Mario were the only boys. The rest of them were all the girls. And, you know, high school, being a freshman, that was a good classes. Good classes. We learned a lot. I still can't speak a lot of Spanish, but I learned a lot.
Out anatomy.
Yeah, it was good times. Anyway, let's see here. Here's one that's kind of close to home. I found this one actually interesting. Western State Hospital patient charged with murder and roommate's death. Did you hear about
Yeah.
that one?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. Western State patient suspected of fatally strangling his roommate was charged Wednesday with murder.
That's my alma mater.
Yeah, Jason
Western
Day,
State.
51, is accused of killing his roommate at the adult psychiatric hospital. He will undergo a competency evaluation to determine whether he is fit to stand trial. He's already in a mental institution. Okay.
What he needs to do is say, "Hey, I'm looking for gender transition, so I should be forgiven for everything." And they'll probably be like, "Oh, okay."
That could be. Anyhow, no problems were documented between Day and his roommate during the 3 months they lived together. Day's most recent psychiatric evaluation, however, noted he had assaulted other patients because of increased feelings of paranoia and feeling unable to control his anger. He told the hospital staff member he assaulted his roommate because the man had threatened him. Now, Day walked up to a nurse on October 28th and told her his roommate was dead. They found the roommate badly hurt, and he later died at the hospital. The 69-year-old man who was killed had lived in Western State since 1989, arriving under the charge of first-degree murder. Okay, so that was about 7 years after I was in there. Day was admitted to Western State in 2014 after assaulting another patient at a different psychiatric facility. Both men were found not guilty by reason of insanity. Now, is that going to hurt his plea for insanity on this one?
No, it should help.
Yeah. Day is being held without bail at the Pierce County Jail and is awaiting his competency
Of course,
evaluation.
he's being held without bail.
Well, you know, I mean, what are they going to do?
Bailed out? Where's he going to go if he gets bailed out? Back to Washington State U.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You know, what good's bail going to do him? Because just send him back to the, you know. But
To the asylum with you, sir.
yeah, you know, they tried to make it sound like it was just, you know. They actually at the end of the story and everything, which I just cut all that out because it had nothing to do with what was going on. It was all about the politics of it and how the funding of the hospital and you know the bad things that had been reported in the past about the hospital and all that. So, you know, but yeah, I found that one kind of interesting because, like I said, I was locked in there once too. Wasn't supposed to be. So, I ended up, I was driving cab for Far West back in the early 80s, and picked up this woman in White Center, and she wanted to go to Western State. Now, I had not been here that long. I didn't even know what Western State was,
Hmm.
you know. And but she had a suitcase. She said she needed to go back to Western State Hospital. I said okay, and I got the address from my dispatcher, and he said have fun. You know, so we're going, and this woman is talking to me, and she's telling me about how she hears voices and this kind of stuff, and that's why she's in there. And it's like, oh, okay, but we had a nice conversation. She was very polite, you know, and we get there and everything, and I treated her the same as I did everybody else, and I carried her bag in. Well, she took me back into the room where she was going, and everything. And I got paid and everything, and so I turned around and started to go back out, and the door was locked. I had to sit there and talk to these people until finally a nurse came in, which was probably about half an hour or so before a nurse came through. And I said, "Excuse me, ma'am, I'm not actually supposed to be here." Not thinking about it. And she says, "Yeah, I've heard that before." I said, "No, I'm a cab driver. I just brought this lady in. I carried her bags in. And if you look, my cab is parked out front. It's Far West Taxi 212. And so they went ahead and they looked. I was in there for a little over an hour and a half by the time everything was said and done. They called up dispatch and asked them, because I showed them my driver's license even, and my for hire license. And my dispatcher, Larry Ogg, at the time, he says, Gary, he says, when they called up and wanted us to verify, he says, I almost told them, nope, never heard of him.
Yeah, that would have been funny.
Yeah, so that's when I learned what Western State Hospital really was.
Western State. That's a good alma mater.
Again, if anybody is watching and they want to, feel free, join the conversation. You can text or
Been to
call.
Western State, let us know.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
When did you graduate?
But the number's 253-254-6664.
Yep. It's kind of sad that they're going after the kids, man. I'm glad I don't have kids. And I really don't have to care since I don't have kids. So people ask me, why do I care? It's because, well, in a few years, those kids are going to be the ones that are in control. And if you look at what I'm looking at, you don't want that.
Well, already a lot of the kids that I see, I don't want in control.
Yeah, well.
In fact, I used to think the old people were crazy.
Oh, I know the old people are crazy.
Yeah.
I'm crazy.
I didn't really realize how crazy some of the old people really are until
well, there's crazy, and then there's just plain scary.
Well,
the crazy people are all right. It's those scary ones.
Yeah.
That we allow to be in control. That's where we're crazy. We allow those scary ones to remain in control.
Friday, I had to go over to Steve's and run him around a little bit, because his truck is still not running.
How's No Toe doing?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So he finally got his surgeries. His toes are gone. In fact, he made a little comment on Facebook yesterday that I found kind of humorous and everything. He says, I feel like I've shrunk a bit. He says, in fact, I can honestly say I think I'm about half a foot shorter. Anyhow,
good humor.
Yeah, but I drove him around a little bit and everything. And we ended up over at the Albertsons, not too far from his place, and I was going to park. After I got it, I parked. I went and stopped in the front and got him into the store where he could get one of those electric carts, and then I went to park my truck. And while I was going around, this guy was, and it's raining. This guy is coming out from the back side of this truck. It's a large van. Anyhow, so he goes ahead and he starts to come on out, and I almost didn't see him at first, but he's looking at his phone. And so he goes ahead and he's walking on out. And so I stopped when I saw him and everything. I went ahead and I stopped and, waved him across. And then he waved me through, and it was like, okay, fine. So I went ahead and went. once I got past him, he started yelling at me like I did something wrong.
You did. You acknowledged that he existed.
Yeah, so I
That
stopped the
was what you
truck. I
brought
got
up.
out, and what the is your problem? And everything, and he comes on up and everything. He starts to get in my face and everything, and I step back and I'm okay, and he says, I said, don't, I will knock you on your ass, and he says, go ahead, throw up. He says, throw a punch and I'll poke you full of holes, just like, whatever happened to the days when you could actually get into a fight and it was just a fight? And then I saw that he had this fingernail file in his hand like this, and it's like, dude, I will break your fucking arms and legs if you even think about it.
Yeah, that's why I tell my girl, man, just push their nose into their brain and walk away calmly while they bleed out on the street.
Yeah, well, so I turned around, went back to my truck and everything because he started to back off a bit. I got back in my truck and started to drive off. He started yelling again. It was like, but I still don't even know what the problem was,
It just you chose to engage. That's what the problem was. The fact that you acknowledged that person existed was the problem.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. I tried to be nice.
You not to engage anymore.
Yeah, it was like, why? If somebody is standing out in the rain or they're walking in the rain and I'm sitting in my car, I'm going to stop and let them go because they need to get to shelter. They're getting soaked being out there. That's my reasoning of it. Other than that, I got no clue why.
Well, there's a song by Alice Cooper we should all adhere to now. No more Mr. Nice Guy.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite songs. That was ranked number 2 right after Dead Babies.
And we've been nice for too long. We've coddled these people for too long, and this is what we get. We get people that want 8-year-old children to have their gender reassigned.
Yeah, that's
without the parents' consent.
Yeah, that kind of stuff just ticks me off because I'm sorry, but a 10-year-old kid shouldn't even know what sex is.
Well, I mean, they can be aware because at 10 years old, I'm sure they're starting to go, hey, something's changing, But to allow someone who can't buy a gun, can't buy beer, can't consent to sex, can't join the military, but can get surgery to change their sex, yeah, I don't think so, man. Yeah. I do not think so. And if the parents go against it, the Child Protective Services can take that child away and allow it to happen. It's time to get rid of the CPA.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, the government is a mess, and the longer we allow it to remain a mess, the bigger of a mess it's going to become.
I do agree. On that subject, the way that people are getting. Did you ever get bad grades in school?
I got a couple because there were classes I didn't like.
Okay, well, I got a lot of them, mostly because I just didn't do the work or I didn't go to school. I'd sit in the classroom and look out the window while they were trying to teach it, and by the time I come back to reality, then I'm lost and got a clue what's going on. But most of the teachers tried, but there were only a couple of teachers that I can say I didn't like or that I hated. Okay, and some of them I pranked. In fact, actually, most of them I pranked. But I never tried to do them bodily harm or injure them in any way. And most of the people I know or grew up with were the same. They had teachers that they absolutely hated, and there was a couple of them that said, God, I'd like to knock that guy on his butt, talking about the teacher, but they didn't do it, every once in a while, one would start later, just before I got out of school, there were a couple of them that threatened to hit another man teacher, and they'd get expelled, Of course, there were other men teachers and principals that would come in and stand with that teacher saying, we will kick your butt, get out, But nowadays, it happens a lot, the teachers are bullied constantly. You know, the students don't. You know, if they don't want to learn, they're forced to be there, but you know they disrupt everybody else. And again, the kids nowadays won't take responsibility for themselves or for their own actions.
They don't have to.
Right.
There's no accountability anymore.
Yeah. So
When I was in school, if we were disruptive, we were sent out of classroom at the moment of the disruption.
yes.
Not allowed to be disruptive for 20 minutes because we might calm down. No, no, no. As soon as the disruption occurred, principal's office, and you go to the principal's office, you sit there until the class time is over, and then they come in and they go, okay, well, after school, now you got to do this.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the way it should be. And we also have
For that,
paddles.
it was go to the principal's office, and you were scared because you were about to get beat by the principal and then your parents.
Well, yeah, you were later than me. When I was young, you got it by the teacher, and then you went to the principal's office and you got it from him, and then when you got home, you got it from them.
Oh man, no, they would bring my parents to school to beat me.
Well, my mother would come to school.
And that would make them mad because they would have to leave work to come beat me.
Yeah, see, my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and so she would come to the school and deal with them and deal with me, but she wouldn't spank me. It was always wait till your dad gets home, and then I'd get the belt when he got home, you know. But nowadays, and the reason that I brought all this up, besides your comment, was I was thinking of this one. Okay? 2 students accused of murdering a teacher due to bad grades. Okay? November 2nd. Okay, so we're just talking a few days ago. Teenagers Jeremy Goodall and Willard Miller, sounds like a horror flick there, allegedly beat to death their Spanish teacher, Naomi Graber. The woman disappeared when she was on a walk, and the discovery of her body occurred the next day. When prosecutors filed their case in court, a new detail emerged as to why these boys may have killed the educator. The educator. Miller had met with the teacher on the day she died to discuss his performance in the course. He was upset that the low Spanish mark was bringing down his grade point average and blamed Graber for being bad at teaching the language. Miller and Goodall allegedly got together and stalked Graber as she began her regular daily walk at a local park. Reports say they attacked her with a bat and then hid her body under a tarp before getting into her van and driving off. But they were seen leaving the area, and the boys also called for a riot on the same road where the authorities later found the instructor's abandoned vehicle. Now, these guys are real brainiacs, okay?
Obviously, yeah. They
Both-
thought that through.
Yeah, well, listen to this. Both defendants claim they are not guilty despite Goodall posting about the murder on social media.
Perfect.
Yeah, explicitly detailing what he and his friend did. Yeah, but we're not guilty. We're just psychotic or psychic.
Oh, and they got let out, right? No bail.
No, the teens face first-degree murder charges with the adult criminal justice system after a judge denied their request to bring the case to juvenile court back in May, because at the time they were 16 years old. But what kind of crap is that?
Well, you know, they have no they got no discipline. They decided to talk to the teacher, change their grade. The teacher said, "No, you're stupid." Probably asked them to say something in Spanish, and they couldn't, and that's what made them pop off.
It could be, but it's
Teacher
just
probably said, "Vámonos a la su casa," and they were like, "Okay."
yeah. No comprende, por favor.
Yeah. But you know, that's where we are. That's where we are.
Yeah, it's just sad, you know, because
It's sad, but at the same time, it's fun to watch the decline of civilization.
well, it depends on where you're standing, I guess. But you know, fun is not the word I would use.
Oh, it's hilarious.
I didn't say not funny in a lot of instances, but not fun. You know, especially for the people like that teacher, the Graber. I mean, yeah,
Unnecessarily extinguished before their time because
with a
some kids
bat.
thought that they were better than them.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the parents are going to be like, "Oh my poor child."
Hell, if I would have done something like that, my dad would have taken me into the jail cell and told him to throw away the key.
If I would have done something like that, my dad would have hung me from a tree.
Well, I don't think my dad would have hung me, but I wouldn't have been in real good shape when I got to the jail.
Yeah, different strokes, different folks, different parents for different kids.
Yeah.
I didn't have a good upbringing. We got lucky that I turned out to be a semi decent person.
Oh, I don't know.
Ways this could have gone.
I don't think you're that semi.
Yeah.
But you keep on trucking.
So I mean, like I said, there's a lot of different ways this could have gone.
Oh,
And
yeah.
It's funny that these people that are going to take the sides of the kids without ever even realizing that these kids were destined to be criminals.
Well, I remember, oh God, when was it? It was like back in the 90s or the early 2000s. I can't remember which. It was right in there. I think it was in the late 90s. Up in either Bellevue or Redmond, the two boys took a samurai sword and shot a guy's head off. It was a neighbor or something like that. Broke into the house, shot the guy's head off because they wanted to see what it was like in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, what? You're telling me that these kids were all right? They were just curious?
Right.
No. There's something definitely wrong with what's going on. In the educational system, in the homes, and I can't blame their parents because,
Oh, I can.
well, maybe their parents just don't give a squat, or maybe
How many school shooters are straight A students? Very rarely. How many school shooters are kids whose parents are involved in their life? Very few.
Yeah.
So it starts at home and it ends at home. If you didn't want to help your kids grow up, then don't have kids.
Well, there is that, but then again, a lot of people are afraid to do anything with their kids because they're afraid they're going to go to jail.
And that is, again, the problem of the community, because we've allowed our community, our government, our school system to become a crap show.
Yeah.
It's
and in some instances, the father is
our
absent. The father is absent, so the mother's, got to deal with it, and she's trying. But now the boys are, or the kids are getting, older now, and they're ready to kick her butt because they don't have to listen to her because the government says that she can't touch them anyway.
right. And the fact that the father was absent means that the mother is part-time because she has to work.
Yeah, there too. So yeah,
This is all by design.
Yeah, but
They're breaking up the family unit, and it's almost completely broken now. It's almost completely broken. And we're allowing it.
well,
It doesn't matter who you vote for, it's going to continue.
Yeah.
Big red wave coming. Yeah, that don't matter. All that's going to change is the hand that the money's being taken into. At least at the podium.
Yeah.
Oh, they're saying words that we agree with. Oh, I'm sure they are. I'm sure Biden said words that people agreed with to get him elected.
Well, yeah, they always do. But, as far as sticking with it or actually accomplishing anything, they don't.
How about Lightfoot, the mayor of Chicago?
Oh, I thought you were talking about Gordon.
How do you let that stuff happen? How do you let that be a thing? I don't know. I just don't know anymore. I like I said, I'm just sitting back watching the comedy of errors that is the United States. It used to be less hilarious. It used to want to be taken seriously, but now it's a joke. It's the butt of the joke.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Because when I was young, God Bless America was actually what people believed, you know, and they, and they actually were proud to be in this country. They wanted to be a part of it. The reason they voted was because they were proud to be American.
People still strive to come to this country.
Yeah, for
They I mean, why are they running from their country? If socialism is so good, how come all these Venezuelans and Cubans keep coming to America? If socialism is so great, why do they keep coming here? Because it's not great.
yeah,
But
it's just
that's where
yeah.
we're going. It went from being a constitutional republic to being labeled a democracy, and now it's going to become democratic socialism, which leads to socialism, which leads to communism, which is what they want.
Well, I don't know. We may not actually make it to to communism. It could just end up being a dictatorship.
That is communism.
No, not really, because an actual communism, there's a group, just like with our Senate or whatever. It's usually smaller. Okay, look at China. That's communism. Okay, but a dictatorship, there's one person telling everybody what, everything's got to go their way. So that's the difference. A true communism is where everything is supposed to be bundled up, socialism, and spread out evenly to where everybody works for whatever they got, and everybody has the same lifestyle available.
True communism, the people have the power; they control the production.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but that's just it. I mean, there is no such thing as true communism because if you don't have to work for it, then there's going to be people that don't work for it. They just take the handout. Why should they work for it if everybody that works is doing the exact same as them as far as their lifestyle goes?
Yeah, it's like the homeless in California. They're making upwards of $800 a month, 200 in food stamps and 600 in cash every month. Where's the incentive to actually improve your life if that's what happens?
Yeah,
that's why people are going all the way from New York to be homeless in California because it's so much better there.
Yeah, well, they're coming up here too.
I don't know why. Better down in California, more money,
better weather too.
Yeah.
The people that are here right now are.
But then again, you could say that the people in California are being sent out so that they can spread their disease into other states that don't agree with their mottos yet.
Well, there is that. Yeah. Yeah, I'll go along with you there.
Paid opposition, man.
Yeah, it's pretty sad, but I don't know. Anyway, so are you doing any stand up here lately, or?
I've written a couple new jokes, but I haven't gotten out to do them just because, like, for the past couple weeks, my girl's been sick, so I've been kind of taking care of her, and if she's sick, I'm not going to go out. I'm one of those people that believes, hey, if you're sick, stay home, and since she's sick and I'm in close contact with her, I will not go out and make other people sick on my behest,
So you're not one to share the wealth.
Exactly. Yeah. I try to keep that. I'm selfish with my sickness.
Yeah. They're my germs, damn it. I'm going to keep them.
Exactly. She gave them to me and I'm keeping them. She loves me, not you.
So, it was a gift from her to me.
Trying to keep her happy and healthy. I've been staying in the garage a little bit just so that I don't get it and give it back to her, kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's what happens when you're in a close proximity situation like that. You give and you give back, and it's just like So I have not been sick, and I intend to stay that way. So just let her.
Well, it depends on your interpretation of sick.
Sick in the head, not sick in the bed. Now, come on. I'm definitely retarded, but it's my choice.
Not retarded, but sick. And that's one of your endearing traits. That's why we get along.
Yeah, make her chicken soup, make her breakfast. Try and give her tea to take with her to work because she insists on going to work. But try to tell her to stay home. Someone's got to pay the bills. Why? Why? In about 2 years, we're just going to be slaves to the system. They're going to give our house to homeless people, and I'm going to be murdering people in the streets. But it is what it is.
Yeah. I'm thinking about all the things that I need to do in order to prepare to get the hell out of here, get away from Dodge, take the family, and just go.
Mm-hmm.
But the question is, where?
Middle of nowhere is the best place.
Yeah, but there's going to be a lot of people trying to get there, so I need to find a better middle of nowhere than other people.
You just got to protect your middle of nowhere violently. And it's getting to that point. I mean, it's like, well, can't we all just get along? Apparently not.
Yeah, I found that out Friday. Yeah.
So yeah, sorry. If you're not on Team Veg, you're Team Buried under the dirt. Sorry.
Anyway, but yeah. I was thinking one of these days go out again with you and listen to your stand up again, but
I got some new good jokes. Made my friend laugh, so apparently they're good because he's hard to make laugh. So,
well, good. Yeah, we'll have to try it someday. Get out there. Anyway, let's see here. What else? Yeah, I'm just doing more or getting ready to do more with the station. I've been trying for about a month now to do
go live at work.
Yeah, and yet, like I bought this. Well, hold on.
And here it comes. Show and tell time, everybody. Did you bring good stuff? I've got a mouse. It's got a red light on it. It's the red light district mouse. All right.
So I bought this. Okay. And it's got like a laugh tracks and applause and all this kind of stuff, and you're supposed to be able to hook your microphones into it, mix it, and it goes out and all this kind of stuff. And it works really well through the headphones, but it does not register the microphone. And I tried 4 different mics. It doesn't register that into the computer. So I can't use it to broadcast, which is what it's supposed to be built for. Okay.
So basically it's a USB 3, but it doesn't read more than just the one USB input.
It runs, it even came with its own microphone, but it goes into a 3-point something another jack, the little microphone jack.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but it just wouldn't do it. Yet you can hear it through the headphones. You can run it through speakers, but it just won't go into the computer. Okay. So I went ahead and said, heck with it. And I bought another one that was similar to it, but from a different company. Same issue. The difference is that the microphone would work and it would broadcast a little bit, but it would distort the voice to where and it was all over the place. So I went ahead and sent that back. Then I bought this one. I figured, okay, this one here is just a mixer board. Okay,
right.
No fancy bells and whistles, and it's got the XLR contacts in here and the whole 9 yards, so everything is good. I hooked it up, and the microphone actually worked, and I could broadcast. Except again, it would start going. It was changing your voice into a like low, and then back up again, and back down. So it was really distorting it. Yeah. So I went ahead and I sent it back and had them replace it with another one just like it, and I explained what the situation was and what it was doing. So they send it back, and they sent me this one here, and I tried it with the mic that came with the other one. I tried it with your microphone, and I used the same XLR cord that was going into this mixer. Same shit was happening. So I went ahead and I bought a new cord.
Okay.
Same thing. And then I tried it with with just a regular microphone, a good singing microphone, and same thing. It just keeps doing that. So I was thinking, well, maybe it's my computer.
Yeah.
Okay. So I go ahead and I also tried different USB wires to go into the computer and stuff and everything, and it didn't matter which wire, which port, whatever, same thing, So I went ahead and I hooked it up to my old laptop, and it does the exact same thing.
Weird.
And yet I can go ahead and use the built-in mic on both of the computers, and it'll go ahead and it'll record it, and the voice is fine all the way through.
But if you plug in an external mic, no good.
Right.
I have a pretty decent computer here, and I can't plug in 3 cameras because for some reason, even though I put them in an individual USB port for each camera, all 3 of them are labeled Demo 1. And it's like, what? So I can switch manually through the cameras, but I can't have all 3 of them running at the same time because it doesn't recognize 3 different inputs.
Yeah.
So that's something with the USB inputs on the motherboard itself. It is what it is.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you'd fix that either. But yeah, I tried everything and it just would not work. So this coming Saturday will be the maiden voyage of a live broadcast from work using the built-in microphone in my laptop.
If it works, it works.
It's the only way it can, because the mixer board and all that, But that also means I have less to move around and carry. Yeah. So, it's pretty much now just the computer and the power supply and the mouse.
Right.
So we'll see how it works.
Should work fine.
Yeah. I just it's I don't know. It's easier for me with the microphone here, than one I can't see over there somewhere.
Huh. I guess I understand.
Yeah. So, but we'll see.
Quill scene.
Yep. But yeah, I will go ahead and probably hook my phone up. I've been getting a lot of calls to our to the request line here lately.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. But
People want to hear music, huh?
I don't know who it is. Every time I answer it, because I got it forwarding to this. So every time I answer it, Rubber Chicken Radio request line, then it's silenced for a couple of seconds and then click.
Oh, it's probably a scammer.
Yeah.
Robo scam call.
Oh well. But I do answer it,
Because I have 2 phones, and when I'm forced to use a phone number for something like filling out something on the internet, I definitely give them the phone number the phone that's off all the time. That way I don't have to worry about scam callers. So.
Yeah, well, you'd think that they'd call the other phone number more often, because on the website, every place that the number is posted, I've got the request line, and then I've got the other phone number for the business stuff.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I don't know. You'd think they'd call the business number,
If they're trying to get money, you'd think they would.
Yeah. Yeah, call the people that might have some. I don't, but
Maybe they know something we don't know. Hey, we ain't got no money.
Yeah. Maybe that's the request they wanted, but they don't know how to ask,
That's true.
Because I've been thinking about calling it myself.
You've got the radio station. Oh shit!
Yeah, so But yeah, I just don't get it. I just good coffee.
Good coffee. My coffee was so good it's empty.
Yep, mine is now.
Time for more coffee.
Yeah, one more cup of coffee, and then probably a few bottles of water, and then right after dinner, some more water with hops.
The
Makes me
barley
feel-
pop.
Yeah, makes me feel so much better. Keeps the smile on my face.
Keeps me calm. Keeps me out of Western state.
Yeah, don't want to go back.
No. I have a friend that works there. He he definitely says it's getting worse, so we'll see how long it lasts. I'm surprised that they even have any of these mental asylums open anymore. I mean, Reagan wanted to shut them all down.
Well, that's one of the things that they were talking about was the defunding of it. They've cut down the amount of funding that they've got. You know, and Inslee has really been doing a good job at it.
Defund the police departments,
Yeah,
put a revolving door on the jails.
yeah. And now the nut house, they're trying to crack them.
It's going to get worse before it gets way worse, and then it's going to get worse.
Well, that's the optimistic point of view, though.
Right. That's looking at the good side.
Now, what is the pessimistic view?
It's going to be exciting. Like I said, we get to watch it live on social media with 24/7 updates and just laugh at it.
Yeah, true. Sad.
Eventually, it'll be forced upon us.
Yeah, I just wish that we could rewind and go back to when I was a kid. Because that was when things were good. It was a great time for kids to grow up.
When you had no cares, yeah.
Well, sure. and most of the mothers were able to stay home, with their kids, and most of the fathers took time to spend with their children. Computers were not a thing, so playtime was every day outside. Uh, yeah, I wish we could rewind back.
Kid, stop watching this. Go outside and play.
Yeah. Yeah, ignore us. Go outside. Get on your bicycle. Go get your friends and ride.
Yeah. You used to be able to ride your bike over to your buddy's house. There'd be 6 bikes sitting on the lawn, no cares.
Yep. Yeah.
Kidnappings and murders were very rare back then.
Yeah.
But then again, we were all ugly kids, so there was no chance we were getting taken.
Hell, my parents didn't want me. Nobody else did either. I can't say
go
that.
Go outside and play because they didn't want you.
Yeah, my parents actually did want me, though. My dad, he needed me for the remote control, because back then, he'd go change it to channel 3. My mother, it was, I'll go in there, dry the dishes so your sister can finish washing them, Yeah, so I was needed.
Bring back child labor.
There you go. Well, it teaches responsibility,
Unless, of course, you're working in a uranium mine in Africa.
Well, or an Asian sweatshop or something like that, But then again, let
only be in the home.
But then again, buy locally, find an American sweatshop, Yeah.
Make your own damn clothes.
There you go. Yeah.
Of course, you have to buy the fabric that was made somewhere.
Well, we used to have places that made fabrics here too.
Yeah, we don't do that anymore. As we're about maybe 3 weeks away from a real crisis where we're going to be so low in diesel that it's going to shut down the supply chain even worse than it already is.
Yeah, well, I still say that that's actually just another way to start panic. I don't really
Well,
think that it's going to get there.
but we don't the oil that we produce now, we don't have the refineries to create the necessities that we need, like the gasoline or the diesel. That's why we've been outsourcing it. And these refineries that we do have open have been open for 100 years, and they need to be retrofitted to make this happen. And no one wants to invest in them because Biden's trying to shut everything down.
Well, the
The
main
Green
issue right
Deal is
now with the refineries and stuff is that normally during the spring is when they do all the repairs and this kind of stuff. But because of all the COVID and everything else, and all the problems with funding and getting parts and this kind of shit, they ended up having to put it off. And so now they're actually working on the refineries going into the winter, and so they're out. They don't have the supply that they would normally have because they couldn't do everything during the early spring when they had stockpiled it. And so then it just kind of wore it down, and now they have to do the working on the refineries to get the work done before they can start putting it out again. So they're
They're
on
not
a
going to open any refineries. They're not going to open ones that have closed because it costs too much to retrofit them and fix them. These refineries that are closing permanently. They're not going to reopen. They're not going to reopen because there's no gas or oil company on the planet that's going to invest in a refinery $1 billion when the best turnaround they can get is probably 15 years on their investment. And right now, the Biden administration is saying Green New Deal shut down these refineries.
yeah.
There's no reason any sensible company would invest in any refinery in the United States. That's why they're closing them down one after the other. There's been 6 closed in the past 3 or 4 years. There's another one closing real soon. And like I said, the oil that we are actually producing, the shale oil and the dirty oil that we dig up, these refineries were not built to distill that stuff. So to retrofit them to get them to be up to the standards that they need to be to refine the oil so that we can have diesel fuel and regular gasoline costs too much money for them to invest because the Biden administration says, no, we're going green.
Biden administration will be gone in 2 years by the time they get everything fixed. Yeah.
You hope.
Nah,
And
there is no way in hell that this country is that freaking stupid to put him in a second term.
There is. I have no faith in any American right now to make the right choice for this country.
No well, maybe faith. Not the right choice, but they can't do that bad again.
Oh yeah, they can. As a matter of fact, every time I would go out doing comedy while Trump was president, I'd say, "Oh, you think he's bad? Do you think the next one's going to be worse? Oh no, he's going to be way better." What happened? So you think the next guy's going to be better or worse? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Well, I'm trying to figure out how it could get worse.
The government in this country has gotten progressively worse with every new administration. Progressively, visibly.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how it could get worse than Biden.
I'm afraid to think about it.
Yeah, I cannot picture anything.
Oh, I can.
Well, maybe Hillary.
Defunding schools, defunding police departments even further, letting revolving door prisons become the new norm. Supply chains are broken without any kind of plan
that's
to
mostly.
fix them.
But what you're talking about, a good portion of that is mostly local. That's not the feds. The defunding of the cops. I mean, like in Seattle, that's the mayor in Seattle. That's the Washington governor. That's
We're not the only ones though.
Well, no.
It's a countrywide thing.
Yeah, Washington sneezes, Oregon catches it, or vice versa, and then it starts moving out to other places. But I mean, Biden isn't the one defunding the police here in Washington. He ain't got nothing to do with that. So, but everything that he does have to do with is going down the toilet. So,
Oh, yeah.
you know, you keep him in, all the toilets in this country are going to be clogged.
Yep.
Because we can't cover that much shit. You know, we just
So if he
can't deal
lives
with it.
past this Christmas and he gets another term, I'm gonna laugh so hard. I'm gonna laugh so hard. And it's like I'm watching these races now. I'm watching these midterm things happen right now, and it's hilarious because I went out for my show last Tuesday and for next Tuesday. I went out and I talked to people. Who you voting for? Don't you? I mean, you don't even have to tell me who. Blue or red? Blue or red? No judgment here. Everyone red. Everyone red, except for once in a while. One out of 100 voting blue, man. Everything I'm watching in the news. Oh, the races are so close. They're so close. They're just within a couple of points. It's like that's a bunch of bullshit, and you know it, and you're prepared. You're getting ready to just say, "Oh, yeah, these guys didn't win." No, man. Elections aren't rigged. Bullshit.
Yeah, well, full circle.
Yeah, we're screwed.
Yeah.
And we're allowing it. But it is what it is. They've taught us to sit in our house alone, and we accepted that.
I wished I could sit in the house alone.
You are sitting in the house alone.
No, I'm not.
Your family ain't sitting right next to you.
Say again.
Your family is not sitting right next to you.
He is too, part of it, right there.
Uh-huh.
See?
Go get a beer, Puppo.
Hey, I can't do that with my daughter or my wife either.
Oh man, that's crazy. I could probably order a beer right now, unless she's sleeping.
Yeah, see, my wife will buy me beer and bring it home, but I have to go and get it. You know, she won't hand it to me.
Mine'll buy me beer, bring it home, and bring one to me, nice and cold.
Yeah, well, yours
Oh,
likes
bring
you.
me dinner with it too.
Yeah, see, you're not married though. That's why she still likes you.
Yeah. Well,
I'm married.
I wasn't stupid enough to get married because I don't want to ruin her credit. That's why we don't have kids, because we like to do things.
Yeah, if I was smart, see, we never would have got married, and then she'd still like me. I'm beginning to think that that's the whole point to marriage. That's when they decide, okay, this mother is going to suffer for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
And then
Gotcha.
you go, I do, and they go, he will.
Gotcha.
Anyway, hour and 10 minutes. Is that good for you?
That's good for me.
All righty. So, since nobody called in again, shame
As
on
usual.
you. Yeah. No calls, no texts, no nothing.
That's all right. Hey, man. We
Anyway,
had fun.
thank you guys for all watching. We appreciate you. Please say hi any chance you get. You can do it
Yeah.
on wherever. Anyhow, appreciate
Share
it.
this
So,
with people you don't like.
yeah. So, thanks for listening. Another exciting episode of You Must Be Joking.
Right?
There you go. Y'all take
Have
care.
fun, everybody. Don't forget to vote. Your kids' lives depend